way we know that it's working. We're going to go ahead and start it. That way we know it's working. We don't have to fiddle with it once we have Johnny on. I want to know that it's working. So we're probably going to end up editing it down later anyway, so it'll be fine. I do have music playing in the background. It's probably going to get this video demonetized on YouTube, so it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't even care. Don't even care. It's adding to the vibe, right? It's adding to the vibe. We got a vibe check. We got a vibe check, you know? We got a vibe check. So it looks like YouTube may be working. It looks like YouTube may be working. So if anybody does want to pop over to YouTube, you can. You don't have to. You can. But if you're live on YouTube with us, make sure to do the things that I'm supposed to tell you to do. Subscribe, like, turn the bell on. You know, leave a comment. All the fun stuff. All the fun stuff, right? Hi, Meadow. How are you, beautiful guys? If you're not following Meadow, please go follow Meadow. Meadow is the wonderful, wonderful human who is the reason we're actually putting this on. I appreciate her so much. I appreciate her so much. I'm so excited for this. I'm so nervous, but I'm so excited for this. Glasses are eye lingerie. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. White Wolf, thank you so much for the daily dose of positivity. I appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and join the call. And hopefully everything works properly, right? Okay, open. Hello? Is it gonna let me join? Is it not gonna let me join my own call? Are you kidding? Hello? It's like not letting me join my own call. This is ridiculous. Okay, hold on. Here we go. I'll just open this way. Meeting ID. Join. Computer audio. Okay. Okay. Video. We're going to use OBS virtual camera since my camera here is different. There we go. Okay. And we're going to change to this monitor. So you're going to see two of me. We're going to turn the alerts off. We're going to turn this off. Beautiful. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Johnny.
Hello.
Can you hear him and see him okay?
I can. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. How are you today?
Oh, fine.
Well, welcome to the world of Twitch and everything. I'm excited to have you here. I don't know if you have the live stream open, but my community is really, really excited for this and excited to hear your stories and excited to ask you some questions. I'm Shana. I don't know how much you do or don't know about me, but it's very nice to meet you. It's very nice to meet you.
Shana?
Yes, Shana. I'm an Indigenous horror streamer, so I play horror games on the internet.
Oh.
I also like to tell horror stories, but that's a different thing.
Oh, maybe I'll tell one of those.
Well, if you have them, we would love to hear them. We would love to hear them. I was really excited when I was announcing this to my community because I had somebody saying that they remembered you coming to their elementary school in the 90s. And I was super excited about that because it's one of those things where you realize how full circle everything is and how small the world really actually is when somebody from this community of people that you've met on the internet actually knows some other person that you're going to be meeting on the internet for the first time. So,
So wonderful. A
right?
web of life. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Do you want to tell us a little bit about you, Johnny?
Oh, yes. And it's customary among our people, we always sing a song to welcome everyone.
I love it.
And so we're going to sing a potlatch song. The word potlatch, I'm from the Northwest Coast, Tulalip, Washington. My father's people are from Tulalip in the state of Washington. It's north of Seattle. And then my mother's people are from Vancouver Island, the Nuu-chah-nulth or Nootka people on Vancouver Island. So, and this is a song we sing to welcome him. My sister will help me sing this song. And, yeah.
Hi.
And then when we're done singing this song, we like all the men and the boys to say, "Oh."
All right, you guys hear that? I better see you guys typing "oh" in the chat, okay?
And then the ladies and the girls say,
I'm not sure what letters that looks like, but we'll figure it out.
A
We'll figure it
a
out.
bunch of E's all together.
Okay, a
Yeah.
bunch of E's. I better see a bunch of E's from the ladies in the chat.
or A's, A's and E's. No.
Okay.
I won't do the all the way to Z. Oh, 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 eh, eh, oh, 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 eh, oh, oh, oh.
That was fantastic. That was
Yes,
fantastic. Thank
that's what-
you.
when he and like that, it's like saying, like a lot of people say, "Amen" or "that
Mhm.
is all." In our culture, just means that is all.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. That was amazing.
Yes, and my native name is Wistamini, uh, which means walking medicine room, and my sister here, she's
My name is Sital Talia.
That's beautiful.
those are names from our tribe up there. Her name is from the Samish tribe, and my name is from more in the eastern Washington and Spokane tribe. But I'm enrolled in Tulalip, Washington,
Mhm.
and there are several tribes that live there in Tulalip.
Mhm.
And so I'd like to start with this. This was one of my Auntie Vi Hilbert's favorite stories. She was one of my elders, my great aunt, and her name was Vi Hilbert Tokshablu, and she taught at the university for many years, keeping our language alive, which is known as Lushutsi or Duflishutsi. That's the linguists call it the Puget Sound Salish people.
Okay.
The Salish people, they're quite a large area, but there are many, many different languages that are spoken throughout the state of Washington and British Columbia.
I saw you speak 7 languages, right?
Yes, I actually speak 9.
9. Okay. That's
Well, when you
incredible.
get old, you learn more.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
But it was traditional with all our people to know at least 2 or 3 languages growing up. Yeah, so we had relatives. You never married within your own tribe because everybody's related. You always married outside of the tribe. And so that's why the stories traveled from tribe to tribe. And this story is called Lady Louse or Lice. You know what lice? And in our language, we call it bushchid, the creepy crawly things that get in your, if you don't clean your ear. And we always remind people when they listen to the stories are symbolic, and all the animals, the rocks, everything are people in our stories. And they'll remind you of someone that you know. And I always ask this people who are listening to the stories to say habu, and habu in my language means we are listening or we are paying attention. So every time I stop talking, ask everybody to say habu or habu.
Habu.
Aslallil Kwesi Beshel Auturi Tuhak. A long time ago, there lived Lady Louse.
Abu.
Altiahil Al. She lived in a real big house.
Abu.
Habu.
Atashgui Suyayah.
Abu.
Habu.
She had no friends or relatives.
Habu. Habu.
Her house was very, very dirty.
Habu.
Everything all piled up in her house.
Habu.
Just little trails to walk through her house.
Habu.
One day she took it, her broom, and she swept it.
Habu.
When she got to the very middle of her house,
Habu.
she got lost in her own dirt.
Habu.
And this hoist, and that is all. And people wonder, what is so entertaining about getting lost in your own dirt? Well, it's symbolic. You can get lost in your own computer, or if someone will give you the wrong directions, like Siri's. So you can always get lost. So here's a contemporary story I heard a long time ago in 1976. It was told by a little girl who had heard me tell this story. She must have been about 10 or 11 years old that time. And they speak a different language there. It's called Halkamelam. It's spoken in Vancouver Island and also where Vancouver, British Columbia is as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in her story, Lady Louse was a sponge. So this is just very short. I'll give you an example to create your own Lady Louse or Mr. Louse story.
Okay.
And those people, they say Ines. Can you say Ines?
Ines.
Yeah, Ines. That means,
Ines.
yeah, we are listening. Nish kone chalsens kone tinanawashan need sponge.
Ines.
Long ago, there lived Lady Louse, and she was a sponge.
Eunice.
Niece Quinetta, one day she had an idea.
Eunice.
Quinetta, she jumped into the river.
Eunice.
Neil Quinetta, as she jumped in the river, she became self-absorbed.
Eunice.
And that was the end of Lady Louse.
Eunice. That was good. That was good.
Yes, I bet a lot of you have a Lady Louse or Mr. Louse story.
I think most of us might have a few of those.
Yes. Okay, this next story I'd like to share would be the animal people story.
Okay.
There's lots of animals in it, and you know when we tell the stories, my grandparents when they tell me these stories, or my granduncles or granddaunts, we always had different elders that would come in to tell us stories,
Mm-hmm.
and they would change their voice to the animal sounds,
Ooh.
or they even had sounds for the rocks and the water and trees. So it made it really exciting for us kids because they would always tell us, "You make up your own sounds," and they were always encouraging us to be creative, to be open to the storytelling.
I love that.
Yeah, we didn't. We had a transistor radio growing up back then. And in our village, we had no electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we heard was from the elders, the oral tradition. Okay, this story is the story of Octopus Lady and Crow. And this is my mother's language, Nuchanaf, or the Nootka people. They also live in the northwestern part of the state of Washington, called, a lot of you might know, the Makah tribe. The
Mm-hmm.
Makah, we call them the Quidichidat. Quidichidat is the people of the Cape. But there are many, many tribes of the Nootka, Nuchanaf. It covers over, on the island, it stretches 300 miles on the island. So many, many different dialects of Nootka. And
Yeah.
they say, if you're listening to this story, can you say Eklel?
One more time.
Eklel.
Eklel.
Yeah. And if you cannot pronounce that, the missionaries later who didn't like our shamanic language, that they changed it to Keklel. Some people say Keklel
Interesting.
or
Interesting. Okay.
Keklel because the priests, Catholic priests, thought our language was too spiritual, I guess.
That happened. That happened a lot,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, like much Anna in another state. Long ago, the animal people lived, and they all used to talk to one another and used to say, and don't go to the beach when the tide is way out because that dirty old mean thing lives out there, the octopus lady.
Eklel.
And we call the octopus lady in our language, like you could say the word tissue and loop, put those together, you have tishloop. That's the octopus lady, tishloop.
Eklel.
There was Mr. Crow. He talked to himself. And he'd say, those animal people don't know nothing. I know everything.
Claro.
And and Crow, he was called Crow, and he would say, I know.
Claro.
Oh, he started walking, visiting the animal people. First longhouse he went to was cousin Bearman's house, and entered Bearman's longhouse, and Bearman said to him, don't go to the beach because octopus might eat.
Claro.
And the crow would say, no.
Claro.
Then he went to the next house. This is walking in sign language. You're welcome to learn sign language, native sign language. They went to cousin Mosquito Man's house. And he entered Mosquito Man's house, and this is what Mosquito Man said to Crow. Ah, ah. And the crow would say, no.
Claro.
Oh, yes. In our native language, we call the crow. Can you say
One more time.
ah, ah?
Add.
Yeah, and not caca.
Not caca.
Yeah,
Not caca.
caca. Anyway, that's the crow. There he went to the next house. He went to cousin Fleaman's house. But Fleaman's house was so tiny. He couldn't get in, so he just peeked through the doorway, and cousin Fleaman began to talk to Crow and say, and the crow would say, I know.
Claro.
And he left that house. He went to many houses. The original story takes over half an hour to tell, just that story.
Wow.
But the condensed, I'm sharing the condensed version.
Mm.
There, he went to the last house. Iaka. Iaka is the banana slug. And according to our ancient legends, the the banana slug was the first medicine woman.
Oh, claro.
Eh, there she moved so slowly. Well, in the olden days, everything was big, so it must have been a really big longhouse that she lived. Was probably a slugosaurus. And so the crow entered the house, a banana slug, and he slid. Right to the front of Slug Woman's house. And there, as she slid there, he's crow was saying, I know everything. These animal people don't know nothing. And there it would utter. The slug began to talk again in English and said, And Crow would say, wiping his face, amen. Slid out of the slimy house, banana slug house, and went to the beach when the tide was way out. Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. We're coming out of the water. Got your water? There's the tide went out. Out of this little hole popped out this big head.
Eklo.
And who do you think it was? It was Tishloop, the octopus lady. And she was really happy to see the crow. And she called the crow and she said, you do, you do, do come a little bit closer, crow. And Crow would say, "Meow." And got real close. Octopus lady put her arm around Crow, then another arm. And every time she'd put her arm around Crow, the water, the tide was starting to come in, would rise a little bit higher.
Eklo.
And then she'd say some nice things to him, like, "Oh, you are really handsome." And put her arm around him, and he would say, and put another arm around him. "Ooh, you smell really nice, Crow." And she would say, connect earth. Well. Oh, he was getting impatient. He was hungry, and he said to Octopus Lady, "Shwan, Shwan, coconut. I'm hungry. When are we going to eat?" And Octopus Lady put another arm around him, and she said, "Dude, we're going to eat pretty soon." Crow would just say, "Now," as the water rose all the way up to his neck. He was really impatient, and he said to Octopus Lady, "Shwasha, I'm hungry right now. What's for dinner?" And she put her last arm around Crow, and she said, "You the dinner, Crow." Poor Crow. The water was way up to his neck, and the poor Crow said, "No." And that is all.
Oh, that's a horror story. That's a horror story for the poor crow.
That's it. That was a story that we used to just love hearing them. All the different elders tell the story. They all had their own version, and they told it and made up their own sounds to the animals.
I'm sure the animals were always in different orders and everything too, so you
Oh
never
yeah.
knew what was gonna come.
And what's really funny is our elders would make fun of our relatives and try to imitate their voice.
Yeah.
And one of the, because they used to tell us we all have snakes and roaches and
Hmm.
pigs in our family. So who does this story remind you of?
Oh no. I love that. I love that. That's
Here's a
perfect.
story that my grandfather, he used to collect Native American uh, Catholic and Protestant stories.
Hmm.
And this is one of his favorite stories he used to share with us. And I'll share it in the Samish language that's spoken
Okay.
in the San Juan Islands in the state of Washington. From this dialect is from Orcas Island, Washington. And they say Inewech. Can you say Inewech?
Inuit.
Inawith. And
Inewith.
the end of the part when inawith, the tip of your tongue, inawith, you feel air coming out of the side of your mouth.
Okay.
With
Weth. Weth.
wish. And when you feel slobber coming out like that, that's
That's when you know you're doing it
yeah,
right.
yeah. In our people, we have a sign language that means thank you,
Hmm.
but it also means we're protecting ourselves from our relatives that spit on us when they say no.
Thank you for protecting me.
Yeah, yes. So this is called the missionary story. Nishisque lechanamtinanastiwil. Inawel.
Inewith.
Yeah, inawel. Nishigaletinanastiwil. Oh, long ago, the old Indian people said, someday new religion coming, new medicine way.
Inewith.
Inawel. And that day arrived in the 1800s to the San Juan Islands. The first Catholic missionaries arrived. They were Franciscans,
Inewith.
and they were from England, Cambridge, England. There, the Catholic priest, the old Indian says, you will know this new religion because someone will come wearing a long black dress and have funny sign language. And there the priest arrived. Just as he spoke to the people, and they did not understand his language. So he lived among the native people for a few years and learned their native language.
Inewith.
He began to preach to them, and the people were kind of sorry they taught him their language. And there, as he was preaching to them, he told them, oh, they better listen. He spoke our language, but he had an English accent. You must believe in Jesus. If you don't believe, you'll all burn in hell. And all the people talked amongst themselves. What is hell? I don't know. Do you know what hell is? I don't know. Nobody knew where that was or what it was. And he explained that's where bad people go who don't join our church.
Inewith.
Well, they adopted this priest into their tribe, and so he became family. So they just kind of went along with him. So he said, oh, we have to go to the river and I'm going to baptize everybody.
Inewith.
They walked to the river, and there he baptized everybody. Name of Father and Son and Holy Spirit, I now baptize you in the name of Matthew, Mark, Martha, Ruth. All gave him all Christian names.
Mm-hmm. Inewith.
Told him 10 rules, 10 commandments. And told him, go to church every Sunday, every week, confession every week, and you only eat fish on Friday, no meat. So all the people went back to the village. They were all good Catholic Indians.
Mm.
But then they said, there's an old man who lives up on the mountain, a medicine man. You should see if he'll join.
Inewith.
So the priest decided to journey up the mountain where the medicine man lived, and he began to preach to him. You must believe in the new religion. And there, the old medicine man, he says, "Oh, Nitakonesh, Father, I was, I'm really old, but I didn't make it down there to join. But he wanted to be part of it, the tribe. So he went to the river with the priest, and the priest baptized him. Name of the Father, and Son, Holy Spirit, I baptize you in the name of Anthony. And he got the name, got the 10 Commandments, church every Sunday, confession every week, fish only eat fish on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Old man says, "Oh, oh, Lord, Father." Old man went home. Priest went back to the village. Day after day, week after week, month after month. The old Indian doctor, the medicine man, Anthony, didn't go to church. And never went to confession. All the people were gossiping about it. So in a lot of ways, he didn't have to go to confession because all his relatives confessed his sins for him. And heaven knows what he was eating on Friday. And it just happened to be a Friday, and this old priest, he journeyed up the mountain to check on the old man Anthony. And he arrived and he smelled something a cooking. The old man was cooking. I know it. I just smell it. Cooking some nice juicy deer meat.
Oh.
You know it. And they was just gonna. The priest was horrified. He says, "Anthony, you're committing a sin. You're supposed to be eating fish on Friday, not meat." And the old man told a story, confessed. He says, "Oh, please, Father, let me confess. Oh, I'm really old, but I like to go hunting. Not strong like I used to be. I see deer. I get my bow and arrow, shoot it. I know it. Deer drop dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I drag the deer to the river. I look at the river. I look at the deer, and I say to it, Name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, I now baptize you in the name of fish." And that is all. So he was eating fish, and the deer became a Catholic.
He ate fish on a
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah.
He
On
did.
a Friday.
On a Friday. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. This reminds me so much of stories my grandmother and my great grandparents used to tell me as a kid. I love this so much.
Oh, good. Okay. This next one is a fun story. The this is the story of the skunk.
Hmm.
Skunk, who's a very powerful medicine man long time ago. And I will tell it in the Skykomish languages, which is east of our reservation there in Tulalip, Skykomish tribe,
Okay.
near Monroe, Washington. And they say Hamokawich. Can you say Hamokawich?
Hamokawich.
Hamokawich, yeah. So, see, you're going to be more than trilingual.
I'll be able to
Most,
speak 9 languages by
multilingual.
the end of this.
I'll tootie too hawk. a long time ago, the animal people lived. And there lived Scabia. Can you say Scabia?
Scabia.
Scabia. And Scabia is the skunk people. There lived this medicine man who was always bragging about himself, how powerful he was. My message is very, very important. And he would encourage everybody. I want you to plug up all the holes and cracks in your house. So when I share my message in your house, nobody will hear it from the outside of the house. So they'd plug up the long houses that they lived in with the pitch and all that. And they seal it, and it was airtight and soundproof.
Mm-hmm.
And there he would enter the house. He says, "Everybody ready for my message?" And they would say, "Hey, there." They shut the door and seal it airtight. He turned real slowly, and raised his tail straight up in the air. And spoody. And there, out of his butthole, come the spoody. Can you say spoopooty?
Spoopooty.
That means the fart power. And the fart power would fill the room, and everybody would die. Well, he went from village to village, encouraging people to fix up their house. And he just went around killing a lot of people with his fart power.
Oh my gosh.
And as time went on, he kind of ran out of people's homes to go to. He almost wiped out a lot of people with his fart power. So he decided to go over the mountains, and all the people called him Spooky. He became a psychosomatic fart killer. There he crossed over the mountains into eastern Washington, where the people live in mound houses, and the entrance is in the top. The two mole grannies heard he was coming, and they says, "Oh, we can't wait till the skunk comes. He's so powerful. We're gonna fix him. He thinks he's so powerful." There, he announced, as he always did, "I am here. I am here to share my very important message. Are you ready?" And the two more granny says, "Okay." Oh, gosh. And they were heating some hot rocks, a big fire in the center of their house, nice red and hot. "And we're ready for you, skunk." And there a skunk climbed down the ladder. As he climbed down, they grabbed him on both sides, and they pulled him down and sat him on the hot rocks and cauterized you know what.
Oh no.
Because skunk used to have a big asshole long time ago, but being it got cauterized, it's real neat, tiny, and he do a little of that stuff. Could just kind of irritate people with his small little farts. And they fixed him, and that is all.
Homo. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. 'Cause I know. So my family, most of my family lives in Oklahoma, in like the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, and we've had quite a few run-ins with the skunks in
Oh yeah.
Oklahoma. And thank goodness they don't have quite the fart power that they used to, if that's the
Yeah.
case. So.
I think it was probably population control.
Right. Right. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Okay, 30 minutes? Okay,
Yeah.
30 minutes. All right. I never know which story I'm going to share because the old people say, let the stories decide for themselves. Sometimes it might,
Yeah.
the stories say, me first, me first. It says, oh my gosh. Here's a story about the, we call Ayayesh girl, the stupid, lazy girl. That's what Ayayesh means.
Okay.
Stupid, lazy. And this will be told in a language near the eastern Washington. They say ani. Can you say ani?
Ani.
That means oh my. And it's story of the Ayayesh, stupid lazy girl,
Okay.
and her grandma. Ulimslu utput pansal tulkalt bananaut. Long ago there lived Ayayesh girl. There she'd lean on the tree and she'd just sleep all day for hours and be awake for a few minutes and go back to sleep for several hours.
Ani.
Ulsiputunen and her cutla, her grandma got mad and says, Nail kolamsatut utapquinasat. Get up and do something. Oh my gosh, you're so lazy. And she would just say, do something. Why? I'm tired. Ulam Putin, and she says, go look for a husband or something. My gosh, you've only been living at home for 35 years.
Ani.
And she says, okay, let's put it. And she was so lazy, she just crawled on her hands and knees. And then she traveled that way. She'd sleep for a couple hours, wake up 3 minutes and travel, sleep a couple more hours. Took her a long time to get anywhere. And then she, Grandma Cutler told her, William Slutton, listen to nature. Listen to the wind when it moves in a circle in its strongest power. That's how you're going to make your basket. Goldschlat to dig in the ground, dig for roots, cedar roots. She would dig. Took her a long time again. Oh, she finally got the roots together. She tried to make the basket in a circle. When she finished the basket, she showed her grandma, and grandma looked at it
Ani.
and she said, that's a basket? So did you have a nightmare or something? Because it was all different shapes. I guess you'd call it modern art now. But there, she says, your basket, can it hold water? And she says, hold water? Why? Go down to the river. She went down to the river and dunked the basket in. And native stories happen 4 times important things. The first time, holes and cracks in her basket, so she had to take it all the way down, do it over second time, third time, finally the fourth time. But grandma said, Elsa Banat, your basket's naked. It needs designs. So she listened to the animals and the plants that would speak to her. And they said, we'll help you. And they all helped this animals and the plants and everything, flowers. They talk to her. There she finished the basket the fourth time. She dipped it in the river. It could hold water. And oh, she was so excited. She stood up. She got full of strength. She drank some of that water from the basket. She carried it up to her Katla, her grandma, gave her a drink, and Grandma, I finished my basket. Katla, Grandma looked at the basket. Oh, how beautiful. And it can hold water. Limslut, I'm going to change your name. You're no longer the IIS stupid lazy girl. We're going to call you the cedar root basket lady. And the grandmothers to this day, they tell us, if it wasn't for that stupid lazy girl, we wouldn't know how to make these beautiful cedar root baskets. That's what they look like.
That is beautiful.
The cedar roots and cherry bark. You see, and then there's cattail, the white teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so our stories, the elders always say, never make fun of other people you think might be disabled. They have so much knowledge.
It's very true. It's very
Yeah.
true. Ani.
Uh,
Very true. That was
okay.
beautiful. That basket was very beautiful.
Yeah, the cedar root basket.
I love it. I love it. So Meadow, who is the wonderful lady who put this together for us, does have a story request. If you're
Oh,
open to a request,
okay.
Meadow, what was your request, love? Let's see what she says. I think we have time for questions too. If you want to. Oh, you will love the grandmother cedar story.
Oh, okay. And
Okay.
that's short. And
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
That's a that story is a story that saved my life growing up. Survivor of cancer when I was a child. I,
Oh.
I'm one of the last in my generation went to the uh, government residential school, boarding school. I went to in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
We're forbidden to speak our language and so on and so forth.
My great grandmother went to one of those.
Mhm. And but I was fortunate because my grandparents that raised me, they always would remind me, when you look up to the stars, we're looking at the same stars. You will always, when you feel the air, we are the sacred breath of our Mother Earth. We're
Oh.
always with you. And so that always gave me comfort. And the stories, remembering the stories, I would share the stories with the other kids in the when I would because we were sent to the dungeon if we were t- caught speaking our language. So the nice thing about that, though, as we were isolated in the dungeon, I would tell stories to the other kids, and they would tell me stories, and
Mm-hmm.
just to get our mind off the punishment that they gave us. But this story is a healing story, and I'll share it in the Cowichan or Cowichan language, and they say Ayal. Can you say Ayal?
IELTS.
Ayal, yeah,
IELTS.
Ayal, and that means we're listening. Out. Long ago, there lived a large grandmother cedar tree.
IELTS.
She was so tall and strong, but she felt sad. This is sadness in our sign language, sadness, and sorrow and loneliness. Open palm, closed palm, because
Oh,
always hide. A lot of our people are good at hiding
okay.
their sorrow and loneliness. Lieutenant, the Great Spirit, Tseltsium, could feel the loneliness and sent the winds to come. And the winds from the four directions came. They carried a baby seed, a little cedar tree, and planted it right next to Grandma, Sila.
Ah, yes.
I need to note, and her tears of sorrow and loneliness became tears of joy. Joy. The now and the grandson began to grow, and she called, "Oh, how wonderful, my beautiful grandson." As it grew, the Smythe, the deer, loved to chew on the branches. The need to know that with grandmother to move her arms back and forth and scare them away. And he felt so good. He'd grow some more. I Elf.
Ah, yes.
Sometimes the north wind was strong. He was so skinny, so thin, he felt like he would bend and break. But grandmother, she'd put her arms around her grandson. Are you putting your arms around someone you love? And protect them from the strong. He felt so good. He grew some more.
Ah, yes.
Sometimes the heat was unbearable. The sun, felt like his skin would burn. So Sila, grandmother, would put her arms over her grandson and give him shade. We call the shade the loving kindness of our ancestors. He'd feel so good, he'd grow some more.
Ah, yes.
But sometimes their grandson, he was growing so tall. Ooh, he his, oh my goodness. It not I feel sad and lonely. I don't have anyone to talk to but Grandma Sila.
Ah, yes.
So Sila, grandmother, would call the birds of many kinds to come. And they came, the birds, you got your birds, and they would come land on her strong arms and sing beautiful songs and carry his sorrow and loneliness away.
Ah, yes.
He felt so good. He kind of stopped growing upward. So he started growing this way, we call old growth. We just going to stay on it.
Ah, yes.
Nathan us to it. Many seasons pass now. Grandmother became very old. She was tired. I have no one to talk to. My grandson's probably tired of me. It's time for me to leave this world. And grandson, he says, Sila, grandmother, I have strong arms. You got strong arms? I I remember when you scared the deer away, moving your arms back and forth. Are you moving your arms back and forth? Cleaning, brushing the negativity away. And I can do that for you, Grandma. And she felt so good. She wanted to live. And she grew some more in her heart.
Hmm. Ah, yes.
Selah, grandmother, Nathan, when the north wind came and I was so thin, I felt like I would bend and break. Grandmother, even though you are thin now, I will put my arms around you. Are you putting your arms around someone? And I will protect you. She felt so good. She grew some more. She wanted to live. Grandmother, when the heat was unbearable, did you not put your hands over me and give me shade? Grandmother, I got strong arms. I'll put them over you and give you loving kindness, the shade. Oh, she felt good. Oh, she was, I'm going to live some more. Finita knows, Sila, grandmother, when I was sad and lonely, did you not feel my sadness and loneliness? Which you called the birds of many kinds from the forest and the came? Grandmother, I know how to do that now. I will call the birds of many kinds to come and land on my shoulder, my arms and shoulders, and they will sing for you and carry your loneliness and sorrow away. Knee and the nose, grandmother, you took care of me. Now I will take care of you. And that is all.
That's such a beautiful story. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's okay to experience tears of joy and happiness, and also tears. You know, our old people always said you don't need to go to a priest or a shaman or whatever. We all have holy water. It's our tears. The great that's something free to share our tears with one another. We help each other to live.
It's true. It's true. It's very true. That's a very beautiful story. A very beautiful story. Oh goodness. Thank you for sharing all of your stories. That they were amazing. Absolutely amazing. um I know we have a lot of questions. I know
Okay.
some of my moderators have been gathering some of them. Um, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where have you guys been putting the questions for me? Um, as we all collect ourselves, right? Oh goodness, Sean's been gathering them. Sean, where you have the questions, love? Sean's taking care of everything.
I love your ears.
Oh, thank you.
Ears?
I have a collection of different ones that I wear every time I stream. So, all right. All right. So the first question that Sean saved for us was, how many native sign languages are there? Do you know the answer to that question?
Well, every tribe had their own sign language. And
Mm.
in the Northwest, we have many. We also have the quite popular, the Chinook jargon sign language that was used during the trading of the people who came to the Columbia River there. And but there are many, many. Unfortunately, a lot of tribes have lost their sign language. The only reason why we have ours is because we had many people who couldn't hear,
Mm-hmm.
or and elders, and so we're taught at a very young age to always use sign language then to communicate with other people.
I love that. I love that. How old were you when you started learning sign language?
I was, well, through my whole life. I Since I was a child, I always seen the older people using sign language, and then sometimes they use it in ceremonies. So sometimes if you go to another tribe, you'd
Mm-hmm.
use your sign language so nobody knows what you're, unless they know your sign language.
You think you're getting away with saying something, and they're like,
You,
wait a
you could
second.
you could gossip. You could literally gossip about people silently. That's the silent gossip. So that's why it stayed alive in our tribe. Because our people love to gossip.
My grandmother might have actually been from your tribe. No.
Yeah, because Coyote was the great gossiper in our tribe. We have so many funny stories about Coyote.
I love that. I love that. The next question is: are the gesture or signs that go with the stories specific to the stories, or are they a part of the sign language itself? And is there an Indigenous sign language the way there is in an American, British, or Japanese? Oh, okay. So the second part we already answered. The first part. Okay.
Well, in our storytelling, we have separate sign language just for storytelling because we condensed whole sentences into one word or one signing.
Mm-hmm.
And those who don't want to hear the epic stories that are go on for days, or and you can just tell them in a really short time. We had with the story storytelling sign language.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
Yep.
What is the longest story that you tell?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. We have epic stories
Okay.
that go to. We even have one that goes for the whole month. It's a genealogy
Wow.
story. Yeah, and we have short ones for 1 day, 2 days, even up to a 10-day storytelling. We don't hardly do those very much anymore. A lot of our elders that are gone now.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't only tell the stories, but we sing and dance the stories in
I
those
love that.
epics. We sing and dance act the dances and
Mm-hmm.
songs people receive when they heard those stories. Yeah.
I love that. That's so fun. That's so fun. Did you know, like, from the time that you were a child, that you wanted to tell stories when you got older?
I always loved stories, but I never knew that I would make a living out of it.
Yeah.
One time, the first time I was telling stories in a nursing home. This is in Marysville, Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and this one native lady, she was a nurse there. She says, "Johnny, I want you to come and you always tell stories at the schools and everything, but would you tell stories at the nursing home?" So I agreed to. It was a long time ago, 1970s, and then I went in there and I were because in Spokane, the people of Spokane, Yakima people, they look like the Plains Indian, the
Mm-hmm.
beadwork, and the feathers and all that. And the coast people, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only regalia that I had. So I wore my regalia in the nursing home with the feathers and the
Mm-hmm.
beadwork. And as I walked in, this one elderly lady, I guess she was a descendant of a pioneer, and she said, "Indians, Indians, trying to scalp us."
Oh my
They had to
goodness.
take the poor old lady out of the, the the sitting area there. And I says, "Oh my goodness!" So I he says, "Oh, well, that's a nice beginning of my." So I introduced myself to the all the old people that were there, and as I was talking, beginning to tell the stories, there the alarm went off. That was the announcement. It's lunchtime, and all the elders went to the cafeteria, and there was only two elders sitting in the audience. One was deaf and dumb, and the other one was blind. And so I told my stories for about half an hour. The nurses that were there, they sure enjoyed it. So that was my first experience telling stories in public.
My goodness.
After that, I didn't really wear my native regalia anymore to nursing homes.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially as time, was different back then. It
Yes,
was
these.
probably a little shocking for some people. So.
Yes.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. How many countries have you been to, and do you have a favorite story from another country?
Oh, yes. Well, I've only been to, well, I've been to, last year we went to, well, I've been to England before.
Oh, okay.
And, but before this recent one, we went to Austria and Italy. And Italy and Germany. And Germany.
Very
Told
cool.
stories there. That was really interesting to tell stories. And Canada. And Canada, of course,
Of
Canada. Well,
course.
and I've been to Mexico, but I've never told stories in Mexico. But uh, we had friends there. My grandfather had Taharama
Mhm.
people that he knew there.
Mhm.
But there's one of my favorite stories is that I learned from an Indian Italian. He was half
Okay.
Italian, and it's really short. Should I tell that one?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And it was short, and you could just say Kekleo. I was
Okay.
telling Mutka. And this is another one of those Indian Catholic stories. It's a kind of a joke story. Like long ago, there lived this little boy. He was half Indian and Italian.
Okay, clear.
And he would, I always share the stories, like, I guess the joke is originally from Italy, so I always use the accent from wherever it comes from. So he spoke to God. God, I want a bicycle. Give me a bicycle. There he went to his papa, and his papa said, "El, ma con la madre, we can't afford a bicycle. Go to go and pray to God."
Okay, clear.
In every devout Catholic Indian Italian home, they have the statue of Mother Mary, Mary.
Okay, clear.
He goes there at the altar. He's praying. Oh, dear God, I want the bicycle. Eilig, he he grabs the statue of Mother Mary. He carries it to his dresser drawer.
Okay, clear.
Opens the dresser drawer, puts the statue of Mother Mary in there, closes it very carefully. Hey, dish. Hey, look, Anna. There he's praying. In the Catholic stories, everything happens three times.
Mhm.
Oh, he says, "Dear God, I want the bicycle." First, second time, "Please, God, I want the bicycle." No answer. Kailan ko na to? Check ko na. He prays again to God and he says, "Dear God, if you want to see your mama again," as he pulls the Mother Mary's statue out of the dresser drawer, "If you want to see your mama again, okay." And that is all.
Get clear. Oh, that was good. Oh, I love it. I love it. That was good. That was so good. Oh my goodness.
So we all have stories we can share with one another. I storytelling helps us to communicate with each other.
It does. It does. I think it's one of those things that really it helps you connect with people across cultures and helps you cross boundaries a lot. Stories and food. Stories and
Yes.
food. To kind of play off of that question a little bit, is there anywhere in the world that you really want to go that you haven't been yet?
Oh, I'd like to go everywhere.
I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah. I'm just open to traveling, so yeah.
I feel that. Definitely. Definitely. Do we have any other questions, anybody? It's open to questions right now if you guys would like to ask anything specifically. Stories, food, and music, definitely. Definitely. Love music. Do you have any favorite music?
Um, I'm pretty open. I like art, traditional music, but I love, at I'm just pretty open-minded with
Nothing
music.
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I think one of the things that I think is really important is letting people know that Indigenous people aren't just the people that they see in
That's right.
history books or in movies and things like that. That we're modern people too,
Yes. Yes.
and we do modern things and we have
Mhm.
modern likes and we travel and we watch movies and we're
Mhm.
on YouTube and we're on Twitch and we play games and we do all
Mhm.
these things that everybody else does. So it's okay. It's okay to like
Yes.
other music too.
Yes. I remember growing up as a child, and my grandparents, my great grandparents, they used to we had Indian square dancing in our area. And
That's fun.
the old Indian people, they don't do it anymore. A lot of them that are gone. But they would do the calling out in the square dancing in their language. It was always so funny. And they'd always have a country twang into for example, like, uh, "Oh, lavadero, choco pan, opanama, do se do, le panama." All about that, don't say land, parley, the libido, they do la ho, they do, oh, yo, dee do, dee do. That's
Oh
kind
my
of an
goodness.
example of, like country Indian folk dancing or
I
square
love
dancing.
it.
Square dancing.
I love it. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. The only thing better would be if you and your sister were dancing while you did
Yeah.
that.
And the old people, they'd be playing their, banjos and guitars,
Mhm.
and it's so much fun.
I love it. I love it. Meadow wants to know. She's curious what Johnny thinks of sharing stories in the digital space um, over a remote call like this, compared to like when you're sharing stories in person. What do you think of it?
Well, I think it's, especially when we had the COVID, the time when people weren't able to be together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so this is a wonderful way of still to communicate with people and encourage people. I always love to try to encourage the young people about their culture, and this is a nice medium. Our old people would call like this, like computer. We had my one Aunt Vi, she who taught our language at the University of Washington. She would say the, I guess you would call the computer like it's another instrument, it's another canoe, a canoe that travels carrying knowledge and information to people. So in our life, we have many different ways of communicating, and I look at this way as a different way of communicating.
I like that. I like that. Very cool. Captain Zaitsev said, Uncle Moses listens to Ernest Monias. So oh, he's a trip. Captain is a trip. My goodness. Oh, goodness gracious.
Our
um,
elders were so wonderful. You know, my grandmother,
mhm.
she was really my great grandmother, and my great grandfather. They raised me from 3 months old, and and they raised me the old traditional ways because they wanted me to be absorbed into our culture before.
Yeah.
And so I always enjoyed that. And but my grandmother, she loved the modern things too.
Mhm.
She lived in a time where the Model T came, and she loved cars. We call in our language, the Elbeed. Elbeed is a canoe, but she would call Elbida. Elbida is the canoe on wheels. Like,
Oh.
so today, our rivers and streams are the highways.
Mhm.
Long ago, it was the rivers, the water.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now we travel on this different kind of canoe. And she was quite an amazing person. She didn't know how to read and write, but when she could fix any kind of car. Her favorite car that she had was a 1961 Chevrolet Impala.
Love that.
She loved to speed. She'd go like 80, 90, even up to 100 miles an hour.
I think that's an Indigenous women thing we all do.
Yeah. And my grandfather used to get so upset with her. He says, "You better learn how to read and write and get driver's license." And he was educated man.
Mhm.
And, and she would be quiet. She'd listen to him to get to stop preaching. And after he'd stop preaching to her, she would say to him, "Well, since you're so well educated, how come you have 5 traffic tickets and I don't even have one?" Because she would be speeding, her spirit would tell her, her
Mhm.
medicine would tell her, "Hey," she'd make this funny sound, the medicine sound. Hi, 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 hi. When she made that sound, oh, the spirit's talking to her. She'd slow down. Hi, hi, hey, spirit telling me. She called her spirit a
Mhm.
stupid. Hey, it's telling me. It's better slow down. And at that time, it was 65 miles per hour back then. And she'd slow down. Sure enough, a mile down the road, there were the cops hiding behind the bushes. She never got caught.
I love it. Her spirit always knew. It always
Yeah,
knew.
it was
I,
cheaper.
I love that. I love that. Uh, Will I'm sorry if I say this incorrectly. Wilkie Fairy wanted to add on to Meadows' question and said, "What is potentially enhanced by technology, and what might we lose if we aren't careful?"
Well, I think, today, uh, I think it's always important to always try to learn from your elders or
Mm.
find a traditional person who still believes in the oral tradition And I think there's nothing wrong with, sometimes they enhance you know, things that change. We live in the modern day today. But if they have the roots of the ancient stories in their language,
Mm-hmm.
um, we were always taught you should always learn how to say thank you. And if you go to a different tribe, how to say thank you in their language, because our people are always grateful. Our culture is not just beads and feathers, but it's respect and acknowledgement. And
Absolutely.
learning respect and acknowledgement, when you have that in your heart, you can learn anything. It's
Absolutely.
wonderful. So our people have always been open to learning in different ways, even in, like we call the learning from the book, the call it the talking leaves. People use that form. Whoever thought that our language would be written down? And
Mm-hmm.
art in our tribe, it's only been written down since the '60s. My aunt Vi
Wow.
helped with the, the language because it's always been a oral tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And she loved the tape recorders. And I used to travel around with the old reel-to-reel tapes, the recorders to record the elders telling stories. And the only reason they let me record them because I could speak, and they knew my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
So they, we have so many funny stories about anthropologists who, like we have one of where the some stories who have not been transcribed, translated. So one time, this one lady had me listen to the story, and it's a story about the race between the penis and vagina, and it's
Oh
a very,
no.
yeah, and then it's from the Yakima people in eastern Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and race goes as they're getting ready to race who's going to win. There they begin. Oh no, Ananatakut. There the penis is running. And then the vagina is going. Oh, listen, put in the canal shut. There the penis didn't make it. Oh, the penis went limp, and the vagina, she kept a going. And the old people say the reason why she won because she had a vulva.
Oh my. Oh my
So
god.
ancient stories were translated because the old people be laughing so hard they couldn't they couldn't tell the linguists what they were translating.
That is so funny.
And
That is so funny.
that was recorded in the 1940s.
Oh goodness. Times don't change, do they, in some
No.
ways? They really don't. They really don't. I love that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Um The Great Claw wants to know, Shanna likes to play scary games. Is there a scary story that you know that invokes feelings of true fear?
Oh, how much time do I have now?
Well, it's almost, and he could tell one, but you're almost at 2:30, isn't it? Is your show?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Maybe we'll have to talk about that another time.
Okay, yeah,
We might have to
we
do
do
this
Yeah.
have
again.
lots of really funny stories. Like,
Might have to do this again. Um, what food has changed for the better over time, and what's your favorite now that you didn't used to like?
what I didn't used to like.
Yeah, a food you didn't used to like that you like now.
Sorry.
Um, that's kind of a
I
because
know.
I love food. um, well, I always loved seafood, and because
Okay.
we're, seafood people, and
Mhm.
all the native foods, I love all the native. I think in modern day, I've always loved the cheeseburger.
Who makes the best cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Settle the debate now.
And not too long ago, I had a cheeseburger that was made up from the tonka, the buffalo.
Okay.
And they say the buffalo is really good, and the cheese, of course, I was one of those people who love lots of salt. I was raised with the native way, without all the, except for fried bread. We ate. I
Love
love
fried
fried bread.
bread.
That's one of my
Love
favorite.
fried
And I always had lots of sugar and lots of salt, and I think it never bothered me because I was raised with the native foods,
bread. Mhm. Mhm.
and so I didn't learn how to eat the Western foods until I went to the boarding school.
Ah, okay.
And then a lot of people, I noticed a lot of young people, their health became food was not nutritious. It was like eating dead food.
Yeah, yeah. I know that a lot of indigenous peoples have health issues because the diet is just so different with Western food than it is compared to
Mm.
what we would have traditionally eaten. So it is what it is, you know.
Yes.
Do you remember what the first Western food you ate was? Do you remember what it was?
Um, One of the foods I really liked was actually mission macaroni and cheese.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay.
And then I ate actually liked the craft for a while until I said, no, you could use uh, because the government cheese used to have the big long blocks of cheeses. They used to,
Mhm. Mhm.
oh, those make really good grilled cheese sandwiches. So I replaced the from the craft cheese to the the
You
block.
upgraded.
It was free. But what was really funny? I had elder uncles used to have me sell the blocks of cheese to different relatives, and they said, "Go sell this to the one elder," and so they'd look at me, and I would, "Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to sell this to you," and the elders says, "We know who you are," and give me $5 for a whole long big block of cheese. And then my uncle got in trouble because they were the ones making me sell this cheese for their their bad habits.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Bad uncle. Bad uncle.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know we are just about out of time. Do you have any questions or anything before we go?
Well, I just want to share some helpful hints. This is thank you in our native sign language, and that means thank you from our heart. And we always that's a one in the native sign. It's all over the Northwest Coast. People they have the same sign
Mhm.
language. We always make sure it's up, above our breasts.
Okay.
If you have it down here, it means you're bragging about mines are bigger.
That's a good
Oh no. Oh
important
no.
Yeah,
sign
Okay.
language.
it's
Always up
important.
here.
Yeah,
Always up here.
place it, like a little.
Always up here. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, and helpful. Those are helpful hints, and I always tell the children, uh, oh, don't feel bad when someone looks at you with mean look, like or or, or a really snobby look.
Mhm.
And the reason why they look at you like that is because they got dirty underwear on. and
Hey.
and our grandmas used to say this is an ancient grandma teaching
Mm.
that some people think that their shit don't stink, but their fart gives them away.
Truly,
The old
truly.
grandmother teaching.
Grandmother is always right, though. She is
Yes.
always right. Oh my
That-
goodness. Oh,
That's why you never hear Indian people say inhale and exhale.
so
A
true.
spoon might come out.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, Johnny, thank you so much. I
Okay.
appreciate you so very much. And thank you to your sister as well, Kathy, for helping coordinate everything. We appreciate you as well. You guys have been absolutely incredible. We have a few people saying thank you in their native languages in chat as well.
Whoa.
So, yeah, I want you guys to know how much we appreciate this. This has been incredible. Um, and hopefully, maybe we can do something like this again in the future. So, thank you.
Thank all of you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Kathy. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, you too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, that was so lovely. They were so lovely. They were so lovely. I'm turning my mic back up, so sorry if I get a little bit louder. They were so lovely. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. That was so lovely. That was so lovely. They were wonderful. Um, that Meadow, thank you so much again for helping coordinate all of this. I truly, truly appreciate it. If you guys don't know, this is all a part of a special event that is happening, put on by the wonderful, beautiful Miss Meadow, our fearless leader of the Women's Guild. I'm going to see if it'll let me give her a shout out again. It did. Okay, beautiful. If you guys want to check out the details of the event, I'll actually, you know what, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up myself. And then I'll also put the link in the chat. We're going to do both. We're going to do both. So I'm going to walk you guys through everything. Let's see. Let's see. And if you guys want to check out Johnny, I'll put the link to his website in the chat as well. Let's see. No, Meadow. We wouldn't have done this if it weren't for you. We wouldn't have done this if it weren't for you. So there's the link to all of the event information. And then if you want to learn more about Mr. Johnny Moses, you can find all of his information at that link right there. And if we want to take a look here, let's see. You guys can see. So today is the 9th. Tomorrow we'll have storyteller Joel Ben Izzy on Smirky's channel. So make sure that you guys go follow Smirky.
Get ready, Twitch.
Oh.
It's time for it.
That was a little loud. Go follow Smirky at that link right there. And we'll do another shout out for them as well. Oh, in 17 seconds. I'm going to give them a follow because I was not following. And then you can see we have some other awesome events coming up throughout the month as well. So, like I said, check out the link. You can check out all the events that are happening, read a little bit more details about it. It's awesome. I'm excited about it. You can see all the creators that are involved on here as well. All the guests. This has been really fun. This has been really, really, really fun. That being said, however, your girl does have to go back to work. More guests are being added too. Ooh, that's exciting, Meadow. That's exciting. Yeah, so keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. You never know who's going to end up on that list. You never know. Your girl does have to go back to work. So we're going to see about
Degree
rating
clause sent.
somebody. Oh no.
Acknowledging and uplifting. Just another reason Shana is the bestest.
Listen, Shana Claw, you're crazy. You're crazy. Let's see. Let's rate somebody from the Women's Guild. Do you have, Meadow, do you have a suggestion out of there's a lot of people on. It's going to be hard for me to choose. Do you have a suggestion out of all the people who are on right now? I know this person is also an Indigenous streamer, and they're part of the Women's Guild. What are they doing right now, though? Playing some Elden Ring. You trust my preference? Okay. Oh no.
Did Great Claw send? I wonder, should I tell the PP story again?
No! The PP story. I was dying. It was so good. Yeah, let's rate Kiki. So Kiki is part of the Women's Guild, and Kiki also is part of Four Directions. Kiki is a Black Indigenous streamer. So let's go spread some love over to Kiki. I've never rated Kiki before, so. Oh, Chonk and Nilo are both on too. Dang it. Everybody, there's so many good people on. There's a lot of good people on today. Oh, Kiki's been on for a long time too. I don't know how much longer they're gonna be. Okay. Yeah, you right. Let's go say hi to Chonk. Because I don't know how much longer Kiki's gonna be on, because she's been on for a long time. Let's go say hi to Chonk. Chonk is playing some Overwatch, and Chonk is part of Indigi Horror Squad. So, if you guys don't know about Indigi Horror Squad, you should check out the Indigi Horror Squad. Go do it. Grab your raid message, whichever one you'd like, whichever one works for you. Let's go spread some love. Thank you again, Meadow, for setting this up. Thank you everybody for coming and hanging out and listening to this event. I would love to, do some more of this kind of stuff. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate all of you. We'll be back. Normal stream on Wednesday. We don't normally stream on Wednesday, but it'll be a normal stream, if that makes sense. And then we'll be back to normal schedule after that. So, med check. I did take my meds. Everybody else, take your meds too. Take your meds if you haven't. Drink your water. Eat some food. Take care of yourselves. Do all the things you're supposed to do. What's happening? Meadow, thank you for the sub. I've got all the alerts turned off still, but thank you so much for the sub. Oh my god. Wilkie, thank you so much for the biddies. You guys don't need to do that. We don't need a hype train right now, you guys. And I'll take my vitamins too, I promise. I will. I promise. Thank you guys so much. You guys don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Angelic, thank you for the biddies. Oh my goodness. Meadow, thank you for the biddies too. You guys are so sweet. Grandpa! I did see you, Grandpa. Hi, Grandpa. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I love you, Grandpa. Grandpa Sue in the chat. Grandpa Sue. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounded like you didn't want it. I was like, I'll talk to you, Chiba. And you're like, wait a minute. It's like you haven't settled the time.